So I want to give a rundown of how I made a ghetto spray booth just in my garage here. So I used 10-foot tall by, I think it was a 50-foot roll, 3 mil thickness to make the walls. You can get this at any hardware store, Home Depot, whatever, Bunnings. And yeah, just brought that around and got one of these zipper doors, which have been great. You basically just cut them into the plastic and you have a full-size door. And what I like about this is I can come mix the paint and then jump right in and bring all the supplies and everything with me in here. Just set them on the ground, like I have Prepsol, a few different parts and things like that, and I'm ready to go. This is my version 2 where I added a fan at the back of the booth and I just put a filter on it. So even though it's not filtering the paint, it's filtering the air coming in, so hopefully no dust and things from around here get sucked in and become part of that. And this kind of just stirs up this back area, because on my first version of this, I didn't have a fan back here and the fumes would just get trapped and fill this back area really badly. And so that's here now and it's working well. I want to add another one on the other side and have it have 2 that are pushing forward. The next big thing is I added this, it's basically like a clothes hanging rack, but it telescopes. You have these click-in legs that you can extend and bring this down with other poles. It's meant to be mounted usually standing on the ground, and it stands up and you hang clothes on it, but it has mounting holes, so I just screwed it to the ceiling and it's above my head so I don't hit it, and then I can hang things like mirrors and just tape them up, set them in there and get those sprayed. And then I just have like a sawhorse that I cover up just to keep the dust off over there. And that's a tire. I know it's ghetto, but it gets it off the ground, and I move things around in here, and so that seems to work fairly well. I'm using the masking for vehicles. So this is like a giant roll. I can put a link in that's got, I think it's 16 feet wide. It unrolls like massively wide. I don't even think this is fully unraveled on the other side. It could go even more, but where the walls are, I mask up the walls with this, and that prevents the walls from getting a ton of overspray. The first time I sprayed it, I got a ton of overspray on the walls, and I want to just keep the walls as nice for as long as possible so I don't have to redo them. So I just put this matting down, brought it up the walls away, just so when I'm spraying, most of the overspray you can see just kind of sticks to this and stays on the floor. So the next part of this is it's just hung along the edge. I made it kind of have like rings where it can slide and then connect. Hold on, let me show you. You can connect up here, just like that. And then it'll hang all the way to the garage, and then I seal it off right next to this box. I got one of these giant DeWalt fans that moves 7,500 CFM. Previously, I just had 2 box fans at the front, and this is a significantly better fan. I would highly suggest a big fan like this. It would take 10 box fans to move the same air that moves on full blast. And then I just take some filters. These are just actually old ones out of a house, but you can get the right size ones, and you can actually see it's got some of the primer on it, so it does a really good job of filtering out the overspray. And I just tape that right here on the front. So that works really well. And then this is, I just set the garage door on top of this to seal it off. That sits in the corner, and then I plastic tape to the front of this. And for the most part, this area is contained. I did leave the top open. You can see on either side, the top's open. and I've noticed that it seems to help just bring air in on the sides, just down into here, and then the back fan brings fresh air forward. And it's worked really well. I get really good results. This is some primer that I laid down yesterday. And I mean, it laid down smooth as glass. It's really hard to see with this color, but here's the trunk spoiler for the E30. And gosh, it did a great job. It's really, really nice. But yeah, that's, those are some parts. I just have these LED lights from Costco, 2 of them. So one over the front, one over the back. It seems to be pretty adequate light for me. I don't seem to have any issues with it. It could have more, but honestly, for what I'm doing, this is great. And I can put pretty much anything the width of the car in here. So the car, in theory, if I just bumped this out just like a foot more, the car could come in here and I could paint the top of the car and things like that. So yeah, this is what I've been working on, and it's worked really well. So I just taped it up. I have this HVAC like box thing in the garage, and so I just taped it and screwed it in along the edge, and the rest of it just kind of follows the garage and loops on that. And so yeah, nothing special. At first I was very worried that I would need a ton of specialized equipment, but turns out a $20 roll of this plastic at Home Depot was more than enough. I think the door was like 26 bucks. That was an more expensive part that isn't necessary, but it's really nice. And the fans are like 20 bucks. A pack of filters was like 20 bucks. And then that big fan was $120. So for not much, you can do a lot. And then this was a freebie. You can find this kind of stuff at like thrift stores and whatever else. So anyway, that's a tour of my booth. So never say never. You can do it. I didn't think I could, but it's working really well, and keeps the overspray off of basically everything out here. I just kind of keep it taped off on the ground, and yeah, seems to work a treat. So there's my home spray booth for anyone who's interested.